Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, actually the day just started for me. It's 8:47 a.m. In this video, we're going to be talking about data types and variables. And in our previous video, we talked about what all these lines mean. We have our include IO stream, namespace std, main function, all that good stuff. All right, so let's talk about data types. We have 5 main data types. So we break them down into numbers, which are int, float, and double. Then we have our logical values, so our Boolean values, which is just bool. And then we have our character, which is car or char. It doesn't matter how you pronounce it. Some people say char, I say car, because it's short for character, not character, right? So in numbers, we have our int types. Ints are short for integer. They're basically any whole number. So you have 20, you have 500, oops, that's 50. You have 500. You can also have negative 100 or 0. These are integers. So they are whole numbers. And then we have our floats. These are floating point numbers. They're basically any number with a decimal place. So you have 1.5, 9.99, and 3.14, even 10.0. Right? This looks like an integer, but it's a float because it has a decimal place. And actually, we should add an f. So 9.99f, 3.14f, 10.0f, because this f distinguishes it from a double. If I did not include the f, we would actually have the double type. So these are doubles and these are floats. So you're probably wondering, what's the difference between a float and a double? Only one thing, it's the number of precision. So in floats, we can have up to 7 numbers after the decimal point, and in doubles we can have up to 15, so it's almost double the number. So we have 7 place precision. With doubles we have 15 place precision. And if you're coming from Python, there's no double type, it's just float, and float has 15 place precision in Python. Alright, our logical values, we just have 2 of them, true and false. These are mainly used in conditional statements and while loops. Next, we have our characters. They are any single characters enclosed inside single quotes. So just remember, single characters, single quotes. So we have a letter here. We have A. We can have a uppercase letter B. We can have a symbol, so this $sign. We can also have a digit, so let's say 5. This is not a number. This is not an integer. This is a digit 5. Okay. So any character enclosed in single quotes. If you were to use double quotes, that would be a string. So do not confuse the two. Remember, single quotes, characters, double quotes, strings. So this is a string with 1 letter in it. You can say string ABC, you can say hello, you can add some symbols. As long as they're inside double quotes, that makes it a string. Now we're not going to talk about strings in this video because, well, the way strings work in C++, they're a bit different than what you would see in Python and Java. So I'm going to hold that off and work on that in another video. Alright, so now that we have our data types, let's talk about variables, because variables are very important. They allow us to hold value. In this case, you see that I have all these values here, but I'm not doing anything with them. So they're just chilling in memory. So let's declare a variable. So to declare a variable, you have to first declare a type. So in this case, let's use int, and then the variable name, age, and let's assign it a value. So I'm 23, so int age equal 23. So I print this out. We get 23. Very nice. And you can also change the value after you assign 1 to your variable. So maybe all of a sudden I'm 50. So let's run it. And you see 50 here. Alright, cool. Another thing I want to talk about is when you are naming your variables, you should use camel case. So basically, let's say I have a variable with 2 words in it. So let's say instead of age, I said my age. You want to distinguish that this is 2 words. So you would use camel case, which every word is separated by capitalizing the next word. Other languages, you might use snake case. So you can say my age. Snake case is basically separating 2 words or more using an underscore. Most C++ programmers use the camel case, so you should follow suit. Alright, and if you want to declare a float, it's just float. Let's say price, you would have float 24.99 f, that's a float. If you took away the f, that would be a double. So you should use double. So those are numbers. Next we have bool. To declare a bool, you just type bool and then your variable. So let's say hungry and true. You can declare another one. So let's say bool vaccinated, false. Okay, that's how you would use bool. And for characters, you would just type in char, short for character, char, up to you. And let's just say dollar is this dollar sign. Okay, so that's how you declare variables and assign them values. Another thing we have are constant variables. So let's go back to my age. In 23, if I declare this constant, so constant age 23, let's print it first. We get 23, and then let's try to change it to 50 like we did earlier. You see, I get this error because it says assignment of read-only variable age. This is because we declared it as constant. Now with age, it's probably not a value you want to declare constant. Maybe you have a double pi instead. So you would want to use a constant declaration for values that you will never change. So let's say 3.1 for, what is it? 141592655. I don't know. So that's pi. So if we run that, you might also see that some of these decimal place numbers got cut out. That's only when it comes to printing. It depends on what compiler you have. So in my case, just for efficiency, they removed the latter half of this decimal number. If you were to do addition or any operation on this number, this entire number would be considered for. Okay? And if I were to change this to pi equals 3.15 and run it, you see we get the same error. You can also place this const declaration after the type. So you can say, instead of saying const double, you can say double const, and it will also work. Finally, I want to talk about another type declaration, and that is auto. This is not recommended if you're just writing a simple program like this, because what auto does is it lets the compiler figure out the type on its own. So when you compile your code, your compiler will say, okay, let's see what this variable pi is. It's 3.14159. Okay, so this is a double. So the compiler will say, okay, pi becomes double. If we were to run this, that should not happen. Let's just run it again. All right, 3.14159. Perfect. Okay. Again, this is a double. If I made this 100, this would be an int. So there's really no point in using auto, but I just want you to know that it exists. We will use this keyword in later topics when we're dealing with classes, but for now you should not use auto in your main program because you already know what the type is. Just say the type, just say int. Okay, all right, so that's it. That's data types and variables, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.